back of the stadium, I like to wander down towards the pitch. So we get a little bit of light. I'm on the seagulls here. Be a little bit of look around as I walk down. See Newcastle United fans. We're in the just seen here at the stadium tonight. Right, I'll spin round so you can have a little look around to see where we are. There's red seat behind us. Keep joining, get involved in the comments, jump in, say what you want to say about that game. I'm sure, like many of you, are absolutely delighted with what you've just seen from Newcastle United. I'll give my summary just as people are joining there. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Of course, it's just Liam Kennedy here from the Geordie Journals, because Dominic Skur and George Cronin, anybody was certain about this would play out, to be honest. Newcastle United's form has been absolutely grim of late. Sunderland have been okay, new manager, tough place to come in many ways. Obviously the derby, how much of a leveler would the atmosphere be and things like that. One thing I would say about the atmosphere, it just was a strange one today. I didn't think it was as white hot and as loud as I kind of expected. I think that was telling from the moment that Newcastle United's players walked from the bus into the stadium. I was amongst the Sunderland fans with a lot of other journalists, and the consensus was that it was not quite as intimidating as maybe you'd kind of expected it to be that day. Look, it's not criticism, it's just, and I think that kind of played out in the atmosphere here as well. A lot of that is down to the fact that, as I mentioned as my first comment on this live, there are levels to this game. I think ultimately the levels showed very early on. Newcastle United got control of this game and didn't really let up. It was, in many ways, the way I describe it is, it was very much like a training ground exercise for much of the encounter, which isn't meant to be a disrespectful comment to the team that just played, although I think many people will probably quite enjoy that, but it was like a training ground exercise. I don't believe it was particularly taxing. I think it was a first gear episode, and it was just, it really was like men against boys for much of the encounter. Let's go through the team as I normally do. I think Martin Dubravka, so despite not having a huge amount to do in the game, when he was called upon, one save with his feet and then another one down low here from a Pritchard outside of the foot shot was wow, was really top stuff, and he's been excellent the last few weeks. It was nice to see him get a clean sheet in such a big game as well. Trippier, I thought that was just he got loads of stick off the home fans, some of the bizarre chanting, to be honest. And he just showed levels again. He's an England international who's put the likes of Rafael Leao and Kylian Mbappe in his pocket this season. There was never, I mean, there was always the chance that somebody like Jack Clark might have given, I'm just seeing what looks like Tino Livramento giving a young fan, just you see him there just above the pitch, giving a young fan a memento to take away from the game itself. Yeah, Kieran Trippier has pocketed Rafael Leao, has pocketed Kylian Mbappe in periods this season. I mean, there was always, you know, Jack Clark's the main player. He's looked excellent for Sunderland in the Championship, but he didn't stand a chance against Trippier today. Centre half, Botman continues. He's feeling his way back into form. I would say that's a fair reflection on him, and I think him and Cher almost need to rekindle that partnership that made it. They're still feeling their way back in with each other. You can clearly see that it's not it doesn't feel like the settled partnership that it was before, but look, that'll take time and that'll take games, and they'll feel better for that today, especially getting a clean sheet. Bit of an iffy one in the first half, but which for me was unbelievable. I mean, he was possibly even man of the match despite only being half a football. Created the first goal excellently, was just a real physical menace. Like, they couldn't deal with the physicality in that midfield. It was men against boys for that first half when Joe Limp was on there, and they really missed him actually in that second half when he went off. Bruno probably edged that for man of the match with Trippier maybe. Just seeing lots of the ball, tapping it around, passing it around, creating angles, creating opportunities, and drawing fouls when he needs to, as he's an expert at doing. Sean Longstaff, probably not his greatest game. Had at least 2 to 3 amazing opportunities to score, being brutally honest. I'll need to see the replays again. The TV's aren't the best here at Sunderland. We didn't get a clear view of anything really that happened in that game, but I can think of a couple of occasions where he probably could have took them away, particularly in that first half. Header, I think. One where he put it over the bar as well, and then another one shot from the edge of the box, which would still be rising now if there wasn't a stand behind him. Going into the forward line, Miggy Almiron. He's taken a fair bit of criticism for his output in the final third this season. I think that's absolutely fair criticism. Behind us, it's very loud. Alexander Isak wrote himself into Derby folklore, there's absolutely no doubt about it. Probably would have had a hat-trick if not for Dan Ballard's little interception. Took his penalty really well, took his goal really well, and was a menace. You could see Ballard didn't know what day it was, really struggled to deal with the movement and the speed of action and speed of thought of Alexander Isak. Anthony Gordon in similar ways as well, drifted in and out of the game from time to time, drew the penalty at the end and showed real moments of class when he needed to. But again, probably wasn't his most influential game. Come in the comments, let us know what you think. Who are your star men? Like I say, I've gone through it there and would argue that probably my star men up there would be Joe Linton for that first half performance, and of course probably Joe Linton, Bruno and Trippier, maybe. I enjoyed that performance from Trippier. Keep joining the comments. I'm going to go through some of the comments now just to see what you guys have been saying out there. Let's have a look. Right, all your comments. Right, cheers. Shiraz63. Come on, I think there'll be a lot of people feeling that way tonight. Again, Shiraz63, we are back. We're definitely back in derbies. I suppose it hasn't been a derby for a long time. I'm still reserved as to whether Newcastle United are back, because there was still some of the midfield problems, should I say, in that second half that do need to be eradicated moving forward. Jessica Noble. Haha, should I get the t-shirt for Sunderland fans? Sunderland got beat by Newcastle. Yep, there's no doubt on that. They were more than well beat. Like I say, for me, as I said at the start of this video, this game was very much about levels, and there was big levels between the sides. Shiro 63, Bruno man of the match. I've just said it myself. Can't really argue with you, mate. Craig Foggin, any news on Big Jolien? Right, so he was out celebrating with the rest of the players. Jason Tyndall grabbed everybody and made sure everybody got over. And club photographer got in there and made sure that there was a big photograph in front of the Newcastle United fans, 6,000, and they were just filtering away there, as you can see behind me. It definitely incensed the Sunderland fans who were sat. That's the press box up there. It incensed the Sunderland fans who were sat in front of us here. But it was a good touch. And Joe Linton was over there actually. Didn't seem to be walking with a limp or anything, but you never know with these things. We'll have to wait and find out, which is why I do this video, as you guys regular watchers will know, is we'll have to wait for Dominic Skirt and Jordan Cronin to come back with any information with regards to Joe Linton. He will be asked in the press conference. Both those guys are down there in the bowels here at Stadium of Light, asking Eddie House those type of questions, and probably plenty others as well. So it might be the case that if we stay on long enough, I think we'll have to get the viewer numbers up for me to stay on any longer. But if we get enough viewers on and I stay on long enough, then we'll see. And we'll see. Hopefully one of those two guys could maybe jump on and give a little bit more information on that one. Chris Sker. Hi Chris, I hope you enjoyed that one. I know Dom certainly did. You're right, the atmosphere was poor watching the telly. It seemed foreign to the Sunderland fans. Oh, the other lads. Can't really disagree with you, Chris, to be honest. I think you could tell from very early that, like I said, outside the stadium, it wasn't as intimidating as I'd anticipated. Being in and amongst it, Sunderland fans shoulder to shoulder, I was right in the mix with a lot of the other journalists as well, just to see really what reaction that Newcastle would get off the coach. I have to say, it was really underwhelming. Then when we came into the stadium, there was a good bit of noise before the game, but as soon as the game kicked off, it was very, I would say, poor actually. They didn't really create much of an atmosphere. Again, they expected a whole lot more. Of course, we can go on and everybody criticises fans home and away. Everyone has their own opinions on these things. I just thought there was a little bit too much they were almost shushing Newcastle United fans at times, and it just didn't. It was a strange one. I thought it was really strange for the Sunderland fans to be going on the way they did in their own stadium. But look, I think the game itself probably contributes to the atmosphere largely. And I think, as I go back to all the time, the levels, it was so obvious from very early in the game how much of a control Newcastle had on proceedings. They toyed with Sunderland largely, who I don't even think had a shot in the first half. They had a little bit more in the second half, but it didn't really... The game itself, especially with that goal just after the break, wasn't really conducive to an atmosphere. So, you know, there are reasons for these things, but I've got to say I expected a little bit more. Let's have a look. See what you guys is. Sorry, that's my big fat finger jumping in the way. Craig Fogan, Bruno man the match. I can't disagree with you. I'm in that camp as well. I thought he was excellent. I thought Trippier was excellent too. And my other two with real merit marks were Almiron for his defensive performance, and of course ISAK for Derby folklore, and Joe Linton for that first half performance. He was up there with one of the best. He was the best player on the park while he was on the park, in my opinion. Ian Harper, thanks for your comment, everybody. Thanks for everyone for watching and jumping in. Keep the comments coming. Great game from the lads. However, do wish Eddie would rotate earlier, even if it's for my health and heart. Yes, I do feel the same. I felt like he could have made changes, but I think he was really wanting the game to be secure before he did it. Ian Harper, I felt Hume was lucky to do... sorry, I'm trying to read this. Hume was lucky. Don't understand the pundits. They say Gordon got booked, however. Hume didn't. He was in the book earlier. Poor ref. I thought the referee was alright. He tried to let things go and didn't. I actually think he made a big mistake in the first half where Ballard potentially could have been red carded and a penalty given. Again, the televisions and replays aren't the best here, so I'd have to see it again. But I kind of felt that the foul was in the box, and I feel like it was a red card because he wasn't really trying to interfere or play the ball in any way, shape or form. So look, I think it could have been a lot wider had that decision gone in Newcastle's favour. But they did get the penalty, of course, in the end, and it didn't really matter, so we'll brush over that one. JC in the dungeons. The dungeons. Yeah, I think that... What did I say? Well, I don't even know what I said, but I didn't say they were down in the dungeons at the Stadium of Light. I wasn't sure if I was going to get in here, to be honest, today, so I could have easily been in the dungeons. JB, maybe poor atmosphere was because of early kick-off and not enough booze. I think there's probably a little bit of that, but again, I think the game itself probably wasn't conducive to building an atmosphere. Sunderland had very few moments and very few periods in the game, so it was difficult for them to really get a foothold in the crowd and really get involved and make a difference. And I think it was very much cigars out for the Newcastle fans who backed that team. But again, it wasn't the most vociferous backing from either fans. Again, it was just one of those games for me that made it as such. Ian Hart, I do hope Joe's okay, will be a big miss. As I mentioned earlier, if you weren't already on this video, and it's good to see more and more people join in, so I'll just try and hang on as much as I can. Ian Harper, yeah, do hope Joe's okay. And as I said earlier, Dom and Jordan might be able to come on and join this video if I stay on long enough, and they come back up. It's a lot of stairs to get back up here. You really are up in the heights at the top of this stadium. But we'll see. We'll see if he's okay. Like I say, he was out there with the Newcastle United fans celebrating the win. So let's hope he is okay. Marco 4-8-6-3. I noticed the midfield went back to bad habits when Miley came on. Miley's too lightweight. Look, and I'm going to actually discuss this one a little bit more. I actually agree with some of the sentiment of what you're saying. But it's really hard to be judging and really criticising. We'll have to judge everyone by the same standards, as I said this before. And the midfield does lose something when Miley comes in. But you have to caveat with, he's a young lad who probably shouldn't be having to be relied upon. Injuries and circumstances have made it such that he has had to be relied upon in that department. And it's been really, really tough for him. It's a bit louder and livened up behind me. The last of Newcastle fans just filtering out there, as you can probably see behind us. Yeah, I'll learn how to use the selfie stick one day. What was I saying? Yeah, Miley midfield. It's tough. The lad, discipline-wise, isn't part of the structure. Hasn't played in the midfield. I think they lose a lot. when he does drop in there, but that isn't really anything on him. He's a forward-thinking player, you can see that. Defensively, he's having to build those defensive tools on the job at the highest level. Yes, not the highest level today, but in recent weeks, and throughout the month of December and into January, having to build his defensive armoury, which he needs to work on. He needs a lot of work on in a white-hot environment against top Champions League teams, against top Premier League teams, in cup quarter-finals, in the FA Cup derbies, and it can't be easy for the lad. I think he probably needs some time out of the team to keep working with the team and sharpening his tools, but the lad's only 17. I've liked what I've seen. Technically he looks excellent and he looks a very good forward-thinking player, but does need some work, and I actually agree that they do lose something when he drops into that midfield, but I'm loath to really criticise too much, given that he's only in there on the circumstance, which is none of his fault. JC, Ali McCoy's normally on it, but he's praising the defender for the blatant first half penalty. Was he really? I didn't hear that or see that, obviously being at the game. And Ali McCoy's is mint. I think he's great. But if he was praising him for that was really, really poor judgment in my opinion. JC again, all I could hear on the TV were our fans. Peter Reid chant a particular high note. The one that made me laugh the most was the chant for seagulls. When the seagulls started swooping down. I'll not say what the second chant was, but anybody who was here will know exactly what the Newcastle United fans were singing, and it was quite funny. Ian Harper, like the fact Sunderland give us the Cats bar. How about the stadium for the match, for the ladies' matches? All right, yeah, I know. It has had a feel this week of Geordie boys taking the proverbial you know what. Craig Wright, seagulls are brave right on. Yes, very much so. As you can see, there is lots of them here at the stadium, like scavenging for what they can find. And as Newcastle United fans pointed out, hopefully there'll be no locals around. Sad Gossery, a few times ISAK was clearly open, but no pass from his mates, from the lads. Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, he ran them ragged at times, and I think he got two, could have had three today from the only opportunities he really had. He's lethal. He's a top-class striker. Fingers crossed Newcastle can get feeding him a little bit more, because they've got an incredible football on their hands. And we have to hope he doesn't get flogged either. We need Callum Wilson back just to give him that little break and rest. And hopefully maybe some reinforcements, although what I would say on that one is it doesn't necessarily sound like that's the route they're going to go down this January. I think they'll do something, but I don't think it's necessarily the case that they will go big in this window. It looks like a loan or two, if that, to be honest. Craig Foggin, was there any young Sunderland players we're stealing for our squad? They are desperate for cash. I didn't see any. Nah, not on that performance today. There was very few came out with merit marks, I would say. I wouldn't be looking at anything that I've seen on offer today. I think they were probably the centre half who would have been praising, the right back. Tough tackling, big and strong, but not for the Premier League, thanks. Quiet the crowd down within 2 minutes. Marco, thanks again for your comment. Quiet the crowd down within 2 minutes to kick off with our away fans. Have been poor this season for some reason. Too many tourists. I'm not going to go into that debate on here. Let's talk about the derby. But yes, I know there's lots of people who will agree with you in that respect. And I thought they were all right today, but I didn't think there was a game, as I mentioned, that was really conducive to building a white-hot atmosphere. Marco again, Miley would be some player when he strengthens up. Maybe so. JC, maybe they're thinking they could rent it to us while we knock down St James's and rebuild. We don't want to be playing here on a regular basis. No. I think there'll be many people in the comments who might not want to play here again. Even though it was a relative training exercise today. Marco 4863 again. Must be a glitch on the chat. Oh, I don't know. It's probably because of it's not actually the best signal here. So if I have dipped in and out, I can only apologise. 85 people on. Keep it coming. If you keep coming on, I might be able to hang on a little bit longer. But 20 minutes is probably more than fair enough for this occasion. Andy O, another win against Michael Beale this season, including pre-season. You need to always be the opposition coach. Yeah, it was a walk in the park at Rangers as well until Newcastle gifted them a goal, or gifted them a chance in the game. Chris Kerr, let's enjoy this game. Still need to be better when we play Villa. Our midfield is easily bypass one pass. Chris, that was definitely the case in the second half. And I think it's such a big change when Joe Linton moves out that midfield and Miley comes in. And again, as I mentioned earlier, if you were watching, I don't think it's. I'm not going to go too big on criticism of Miley as a young lad, but it is glaringly obvious. I think Eddie Howe will see that as well. And that could be where the Calvin Phillips thing comes in. It would just take the pressure off Miley, even if Phillips isn't exactly what he was a couple of years ago. But yeah, Dan Ewan, Miggy unbelievable day. Hopefully kickstarts our season from here. Yeah, no, actually, I agree with you. I think Miggy, for me, put in his best performance in a while. It wasn't what he did in an attacking sense, even though he got an assist and laid one on today. There was a lot of the defensive work, a lot of the hassling, the harrying, winning the ball high. Really used his tenacious attitude and speed and just the way he nips in to just cause all kinds of problems. I would have been very frustrated had I been a Sunderland fan watching the persistent passing out from the back when it really was under pressure from minute one. They just didn't have the quality to be able to press through. On the 3 or 4 occasions they did, they had maybe a period from about 55 onwards to about 65 where Pritchard started dropping into holes in between the defence and attack in Newcastle United and caused a few problems. I think he clipped the top of the bar again. I'd have to see a replay. And I think that was a time where Dubravka had to pull out a really good save. There was just that period where you sort of wondered, could they beat the press and get a little grip on the game? But it never withstood, and it never really looked like withstanding. And I think, like I say, it was easy for the Newcastle United press in the end to win the ball so high. But that was led by Almiron, and all credit to him. A few more comments coming in. Thanks, guys. Cheers for commenting. Truman, B68. The result was never in doubt. The Mags controlled the game. Sunderland never really troubled us much, especially in the first half. I'm pretty sure Martin Dubravka did not have a save to make. I don't think he did in that first half. I don't think they had a shot in the first half, to be honest. I think the second half he made 2 or 3 really good saves. The one which deflected off, I think it was Ekwa, deflected off Botman, and he somehow got a leg out and made a save. It was up there with some of the best you'll see. It was an excellent save and needed to be made, so all credit to Dubravka for that. Keep your comments coming, guys. I'll stay on as long as you want to chat. Geordie Tune for Life, you're always in the comments. Up the Geordie Waffles. The King of Waffle, as Dominic Skur decided to give me that moniker, and I'll continue to waffle as long as you guys. Andy O, thanks for your comment, mate. The lads needed this easy win over a sucky team. I hope the lads regain their. Look, it was a kick-start game on it, and a lot of what we'll hopefully see next week against Manchester City with another week to rest, recoup. You know, they're not really going to have any players back, but you know, just a chance to work on a few things, and hopefully Joe Linton is all right. No sign of either of the lads yet, so I don't know if we're going to get a Joe Linton update. But yeah, hopefully that week hopefully this week, another week's rest and recoup will be enough to make a go again against Manchester City. And I'm really looking forward to that game. I think, you know, any result today, you'd be looking forward to that game. It's a big one at St James's, although they're very good at the moment, Man City. So it doesn't get any easier. Well, it wasn't. It was easy today, I suppose. John Norton, any transfer news? I mentioned a little bit earlier in the comments that look, the noises are that they're not going to do a lot this window, despite what a lot of online accounts might be suggesting. I see it all on social media, the good, the bad, and indifferent. Doesn't sound like, well, you know, things can change. I think they're hopeful that 3 or 4 will be back before the end of the month, before the month is out, probably right at the end. And if they get that, I think the need for recruitment probably is negated slightly. But I do think they'll do something. And like I said before, the word from the Phillips camp is largely that they expect him to either sign for Newcastle United or Juve. They don't expect it to be another Premier League club. The word is that the player wants to move. They know that Eddie Howe likes him. And I think it would be, you know, even if he's not quite the player that he was a few years ago and takes a little bit of time, it would just give Miley that extra breathing space. And I think, for me, I think he needs that. But we'll see. I think it's largely down to whether Newcastle United will do the deal. I think the player wants to come. JB, Eddie looked relieved in his post-match interview. Tell us how. I don't know. I never seen it. I'm up talking to you guys. JC, noticed that he tried to do a job on Bruno today, but yeah, Bellingham twisted. Yes, I did notice that. I noticed Bellingham was very ineffective with the ball because he was asked to do largely a job on making sure that Bruno was kept quiet. And again, a big ask on a young lad to make him do that. A big ask. and it just showed. It showed today. Sad Dossary. It was hard to distinguish from both teams because of outfield similarities. Why not wearing the away kit? Come on, Sad. Why would you want to wear the away kit when you can wear black and white? Black and white all the way for me. I was so happy when I found out they were wearing black and white with white shorts and white socks. It just felt right to me, and it worked. You know, I do hope we will kick on now. Did feel we looked more of a team. It's great to see. Yeah, I agree. In that first half in particular, everything seemed to work for them. Had a lot of the ball, didn't create a whole amount, but were definitely the better side. Jody 2 for life again, thanks mate. Bruno and Miggy, outstanding day. Absolutely agree with that. Ian Harper, Eddie and the team answered our questions about if we could return to better days. Well, we certainly return to a better day. A lot is still to be answered with regards to whether we can return to better days moving forward. Big ask still, and they still need to prove a lot of issues. They need to make a lot of wrong issues right, and particularly with that midfield, I think it gets overrun far too easily. And still, there were signs there today, particularly in that second half, that it can be got at. JC Minty coming back? Don't think so. Watch a fair bit this season, and he's very excited. I don't think that'll happen. I think that'll be an end of season job. Geordie 2 for life. ITV was so biased pre-game. Why no NUFC representative? Waddle was a Sunderland fan and Keane. I have no idea. Let them have that day. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what the punditry was like. Geordie 2 for life. This is where it mattered. See that green square behind me? That's where it really mattered. And Newcastle United did the business. Right, I don't think there's any sign of lads. I managed to do nearly half an hour. The comments are dried up. Thank you so much for everybody who's got involved in the conversation. You know, I absolutely love doing this with you guys. What we'll do now is we'll do a little bit more of an analysis, and that video should go up this afternoon, this evening. Meanwhile, I'm going to try and persuade Dom and Jordan to maybe go for a pint or two and just toast what has been a momentous and memorable. They said it was a free hit for Sunderland. They didn't even lay a glove. Well, that was kind of be expected. Newcastle United had very little to gain from this bar of place in round 4, and they've done what was needed and done it at a canter. The big problem, Joe Linton injury, fingers crossed when we're in that, but right, we'll have more analysis, more talk of what Eddie Howe had to say, more news on Joe Linton, and a whole host of other things in the longer video. Then again, keep your eyes out for that. Click the bell if you want, and you'll get notifications as to when we do all of these kind of videos. But we love doing this content. Like, comment, share, subscribe for all of your Geordie Journals content. Cheers guys, thanks for everybody getting involved in the conversation today. It's been a great day. Enjoy your night, because it doesn't happen very often, as we all know too well.